Going on sale for $1988, the all-new Buick Regal served as the replacement for the outgoing rear-wheel drive Regal. Going on sale as a two-door coupe and eventually offering a sedan body style, the new Regal was more aerodynamic than its predecessor while offering contemporary styling. In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at the third generation Buick Regal, the initial car from General Motors that utilized the GM10 platform. So grab a bottle of Simply Orange, kick back, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Prior to the GM10 coupes, there were the G-body cars. For this generation, the Regal is downsized compared to the generation that came before it. This downsizing was in response to the trend at the time regarding fuel economy concerns. With this generation, there were V6s, V8s, and there were also performance variants with turbocharged V6s. During that time, the 3.8-liter turbo option made the Regal Coupe one of the very few production cars to offer a turbo engine. Overall, the G-body Regal was well received and very successful in terms of sales. However, its next generation would be quite different. The G-body Regal would eventually evolve into a slightly smaller front-wheel drive model, utilizing the all-new GM10 platform. With development dating as far back as 1982, the first GM10 coupes wouldn't show up until an entire 2 years later than anticipated. The sedan variants would be even later. All in all, the GM10 project would be a high-budget yet heavily delayed project. A reorganization that took place within GM in 1984 caused a disruption in the development process, thus further delaying the GM10s. The Ford Taurus eventually made a public unveiling, which prompted an expeditiously revised exterior of the forthcoming GM cars. 1987. In October of this year, the newly redesigned Buick Regal made its debut as the first vehicle to utilize the GM10 platform. It would soon be followed by the Pontiac Grand Prix, Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, and eventually the Chevy Lumina. As far as the Regal was concerned, the personal luxury market wasn't quite as strong as it was in the 1970s, and Buick's newest offering was targeting that particular demographic. The all-new Regal was once again exclusively sold as a coupe for the time being, and broke the tradition by becoming a front-wheel drive car. The 1988 Regal featured the GM10's all-new independent suspension and had a more streamlined body. The new car's wheelbase was 0.6 inches shorter than the previous G-body Regal, and the redesign also shaved off a total of 250 pounds and 8 inches of length. Despite the significant reduction in size, the interior only lacked a few cubic feet of space compared to the rear-wheel drive G-body. Regals came in custom and limited trim. There were unique attributes with the new 1988 Regal Coupe, such as flush-mounted door handles mounted in the B-pillar, which created a unique and clean side profile. On the inside, digital gauges were standard. This time around though, there was no serious performance option, and in terms of power options with this new model, you could forget about the V8 we mentioned earlier, or the turbocharged V6 for that matter. With that being said, showing up just one model year after the rear-drive GNX, many performance enthusiasts deemed the new front-drive Regal as a bit lackluster. For 1988, there was only a single engine available, which was the Chevrolet 2.8-liter V6 paired with a 4-speed automatic. The engine produced 125 horsepower and 160 pound-feet of torque. Earlier models offered what was known as the Grand Sport package, which was more of a mere appearance package. These earlier examples equipped with the Grand Sport package made do with the same 2.8-liter V6. However, for all Regal coupes, there would soon be a 3.1-liter mill, cranking out an extra 15 horsepower and 15 pound-feet of torque. By the time the other GM10 coupes showed up, they targeted different demographics. For example, the new Pontiac Grand Prix was a sportier performance option, whereas the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme targeted import buyers. The Regal attempted to retain its previous G-body demographic while offering more aerodynamic styling over that previous model. Since going on sale in late 1987, the Regal was only offered as a two-door, but there would soon be a new variant joining the Regal coupe. That new variant would be the highly anticipated all-new Regal sedan. For 1991, the four-door Regal finally made its debut after a delay. Although keeping the family resemblance, the overall styling differed dramatically from the coupe. However, both variants shared the same chassis. Buick's 3.8-liter mill became optional. The L27 V6 cranked out 170 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque. Out of the GM10s, the 3800 was only available for the Regal, never being offered on the Grand Prix, Cutlass Supreme, or the new for 1990 Lumina. Meanwhile, the base power plant gained an extra 5 ponies for 1991 for a total output of 140. Whereas the Grand Sport was previously offered as a package, it would instead become a dedicated Regal model. There were things to distinguish the Grand Sport from a normal model, such as a body color grille, specific front fascia with rectangular fog lamps, lower body aero kit, and Grand Sport badges. On the inside, one could find a leather-wrapped steering wheel with front buckets and an analog gauge cluster with a tachometer. The Grand Sport model ran the 3.8-liter engine, cranking out 170 horsepower, and Grand Sport touring suspension tuning with Goodyear rubber on alloy wheels. By 1994, output of the base power plant increased by 20, which now totaled 160 horsepower. This was courtesy of a new fuel injection system. For 1995, there were now dual airbags, along with a revamped interior featuring a new dashboard and seats. Coupes now came in custom and Grand Sport trim, while sedans came in all three price levels. And by 1996, the 3800 L36 engine was cranking out well above 190 horsepower. Replacement for this generation was imminent, with Buick gearing up to release the all-new 1997 Regal. In the beginning, the overall quality of these cars was questionable. Within the initial 6 months of production, the cars had a total of 9 recalls. There were major issues, such as hoods coming unlatched and flying up towards the windshield while driving, brake failure, and even the wheels literally falling off. All of this would soon be corrected, and the cars would become a bit more reliable, but consumers in general looked at the Accord and Camry for their excellent fit and finish and overall reliability. The design for the all-new Regal had been approved as early as 1993, and it was planned for the redesigned Regal to utilize a revised version of the W platform and go on sale for the 1997 model year. Check out our 1997 Buick Regal episode for all of the details. The 1991 to 1996 sedan had better overall numbers in terms of sales compared to the coupe, so the coupe would not see another year after 1996. Overall, GM10s shared a common problem. If only they made their debut as originally scheduled without the delays, then perhaps they would have caused more of a buzz. And if a sedan variant was available from the very beginning, then maybe it could have met market demands, since customers were beginning to move away from coupes and transition to sedans. The cars offered a refined application of GM's front-wheel drive engineering along with contemporary styling and a variety of engine and trim choices. And although the mid-size cars were very much similar, they offered the most visual differentiation between 4 separate GM divisions. Let us know if you owned or drove a 1988 to 1996 Buick Regal. As always, thanks for coming out to the show, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until next time, this is your host Rob, and thanks for tuning in to Antique Tags.